The people who are most likely to click on bad links are the people who are the most trusting.
So Manny, I saw you had an article, and I thought the title was the clickbaitiest thing ever, and then I realized that that's perfect for an article like this.
That's right. Yeah, so this one obviously caught my eye. I think it's something that it's not something new. We've talked about this sort of topic a lot, but it was interesting to read that there's some pretty, I guess, some pretty heavy-duty research being done on the back end of this to figure out who these people are that continually click on these phishing campaigns, these phishing emails, phishing whatever texts that are coming out that we see continually. And there's this research, and which is interesting to me. There's this Institute of Simulation and Training at the University of Central Florida, where they're talking about where this researcher is doing research on spear phishing and human hacking, they call it, and online influence.
So social engineering?
Pretty much,
okay.
Yeah.
It kind of took a sociological look at why certain individuals are more likely, folks who are less familiar with security practices, who are not reminded as frequently, who haven't been trained.
The people who tend to click on this stuff are the folks who, in essence, are not exposed to this type of activity. So they're the ones who don't necessarily have the mindset to think like a bad guy.
Okay.
So what they were trying to associate to is, as when you're a kid, your parents teach you that when you're going to cross the street, you got to look left and look right before you cross the street. They equate that to this in terms of teaching people how to spot this stuff. So the same way that before you step off that curb, you're always going to look because it's just been ingrained in you that you just have to do this. That the way to get around this is to ingrain this always being cautious. That same cautiousness that when you step is that same cautiousness when you're reading that email or looking at that next text message and deciding, that link, should I click on it, right? I should always have that pause where I'm thinking, did I look left and right before I click this or not? I think that the biggest tip here is that you have to have security awareness. I mean, security awareness, I think, is at the core of this. The article does talk about sort of the way in which security training needs to happen. And so what they're saying is in essence, more carrot, less stick, which is interesting. So they're saying, because a lot of times when you talk about doing tests for phishing, within a company, a lot of times it's, hey, we send out this test email, Joe, you clicked on it, you shouldn't have done that, we're going to send you to 2 hours of training, right? And
you're on a list.
Yeah. There is the notion of, hey, look, we're all learning how to do this. Yeah, I understand you clicked, but here's a better way to look at this. Or, hey, you clicked, but at least you realized that you made the mistake and then you reported it. It also says, and I'm sure we talked about this as well, is to be targeted with your training. So if you've got folks that are in billing and that they're going to be receiving things that look like bills or something in their email,
then those are the fishes you should send.
Those are the fishes that they should be sent, right? So
if HR should be getting loaded Word documents that appear to be
exactly
resumes they didn't ask for.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it does get further into sort of like how much training is enough training, and they're saying, it actually says here that once per month seems to be the sweet spot for security training.
Right, but I mean, also if you think about some of the stuff we've done with our enterprise, gamification, our security awareness team is pretty sharp. They've kind of made it fun. They, send T-shirts to winners who've done certain competitions, and it's, security becomes something that all employees are aware of, even if they're not realizing it's security, because, they see it when they log in that says, you need to be aware of what you click on, think before you click, and all the advertising campaigns. So, it feels like what we've done, it pretty much complies. I would say we're doing more than monthly, but maybe monthly is the actual training, not just the reminders and awareness of things.
Right, exactly.
I think the lesson that we take away from this is that it is possible to teach people to not click on things. Just give them more exposure, maybe at a younger age, to what is possible on the internet, what kinds of things people might try and do to you. And with that knowledge in mind, they'd be better prepared to defend themselves.